Let's continue.
Yeah, we can just keep talking about cat facts.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining
Hello.
us. We are live from the apocalypse. We are a channel here on twitch.tv and elsewhere that plays tabletop games to raise money for charitable organizations, aid organizations, charitable causes, nonprofits, great places like that. This stream, Class Reunion, our D&D 5e homebrew, is raising money for Planned Parenthood. And if you don't know about Planned Parenthood, what are you doing with your life, honestly? Planned Parenthood is a great organization here in our United States of America who do invaluable work with reproductive rights, access to abortion, sex education. For many women and men, it is their only access to healthcare in this country, which is pretty awful. But Planned Parenthood itself is pretty great. So if at any point you like what you see here with this game and silliness that we're going to be doing for the next 4 hours or so, yeah, exactly. They do vasectomies. If you like what you see here over the next 4 hours or so, roughly, instead of, doing the normal Twitch stuff of giving us the made up money that they keep most of, you can give that money directly to Planned Parenthood. The command !PP donate, which is very funny, but is also the real link. When you drop it in chat, it'll pull up the donation link. You can click that. You can give them money. And, please do give them money instead of us, because they are great and they will do better things with it than we will. We just play games on the internet and talk about cat facts, I guess. This is Cat Reunion, our
Are we
actual
allowed
play.
to
I just
say
spilled tea.
hyena clit? Like, is that allowed?
You whisper it so softly.
Is this
Like,
being
out of-
broadcast
So quietly,
in a
just in case.
syndicated way? Are we
Like,
going to
out
be
of-
live on television?
Out of context, can we say that? We
Are
could,
we
but
on
I
Good
think it'd be
Morning
more
America?
If I
confusing.
say
Yes.
fuck, how much do I get
Do we
fined?
want to talk
Whoa.
about the
How
fact
much do
that
they fine Planned Parenthood?
This is the game where we play chicken with Twitch TOS.
Planned Parenthood has to take one vasectomy back,
Yeah,
undo one.
We have to
for every
undo
swear.
every time, yeah.
which if you're watching this and you're uninformed is very easy to do. More people should
Yeah.
get vasectomies. They're
And
very
it's
reversible.
usually covered by insurance.
hmm
Heck yeah.
Which is a whole other type of fucked up, but it's also kind of a good thing. Life is complicated. This is Dungeons and Dragons. Thank you for joining us.
Not complicated. Dungeons and Dragons,
No.
easy.
Yeah, we're not playing Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
No
Yeah. Come
There will-
on.
There will never be feet on this stream.
I will
I can guarantee you that.
I will quit.
It's true. One way or another, Julie will no longer be on the stream.
I'm done.
Yeah. Good talk. I know what I said, Justin. You're right. I'm just telling you that even we have boundaries.
Cut it off.
Hard as it may be to believe. It's feet. It's unsocked
our-
feet.
The Wiki Feet channel review is 0.
Yeah. True.
For now.
Well, when you put it
Twitch
like that,
wins, I guess. That's fact.
you're activating my oppositional defiant disorder. I see. So yeah, let's play a made up game, shall we?
Let's roll
Class
the dice,
Reunion.
boys.
Class Reunion is our 5e homebrew. There's a description. These 4 people are from Ohio, Avalon, Ohio. They have been trapped in a fantasy world called Noon for the last 10 years, and they have recently found themselves brought back together by external forces, possibly fate, destiny, call it what you will, and love, very, very probably love. and they have found themselves united once again after 10 long years in the capital city of Anun, the fantasy world that they have been in, which is called Calderon. It's been a rough couple of days here in Calderon. Very eventful, but rough. You were reunited along with your fifth classmate, Ryan Beckinsale, who met a tragic end right in front of you on the steps of the Grand Library. You avenged his death, just killing the shadowy creature that killed him. And then were promptly arrested, held for questioning by the Lamplighters, before being released to play in your Gritsky championship game. Gritsky being the greatest sport ever invented. Kind of hard to get into. It doesn't resemble anything from our world. So, yeah. But you won that championship. You freed your comrades from the dungeons, defeated an evil scientist and his horrific creation, and then were recruited into a sort of a secret agency called the Wyverns, at the behest of Moldus Calderspur, an undying member of the Council of Calderon, and one of Anun's most famous heroes. He gave you your first assignment. I mean, those things are interchangeable. Horrific creation or manic pixie dream golem?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Same thing. Yeah. You were given your first assignment. The town of Kalefell, the closest settlement to the necropolis of Barrow, has disappeared mysteriously. And after questioning the scientist that you defeated in the basement of Lamplighter Tower, you set out for the Henge Gate within Calderon, which would transport you to Stormhold, the northern city of Anun. And from there, you'd be able to make your a much shorter journey south to Kalefell, or where Kalefell should be. Along the way, some sad and horrible things happened, but those aren't important. So mostly, I think we can just kind of go around and talk a little bit about our characters. We have this lovely character art, so we don't need to get into physical descriptions or anything like that. But let's talk a little bit about our cast of characters. JD, would you like to go first?
Sure. So I am playing Hunter. They are ostensibly a human, although they have some unique bark-like elements to their appearance, and they are in their usual attire, walking along as we're heading to the gate, just kind of dressed casually, but for rough terrain. They're definitely paying attention to Max's birds, if those are still around at all, because
Always.
Get away from them.
and
For an
like
hour.
every so often trying to talk to them and trying to engage them in more of a conversation than we had last time. But my guess is they're probably just still saying murder.
Mostly just saying murder, yeah. Over
Mostly.
and over again. Mostly. Entirely. And speaking of Max, Raph, would you like to describe Max?
Yeah. I play Max Miller. Birds love me, men fear me. I guess mechanically I'm a barbarian, pact of the beast. And Max is, I think at the end of the last session, I kind of waved off the birds, but that will only stay for a little bit, for as long as they decide to be away, which tends to be not that long. Ever since I came to Anun, I've been stalked by these birds, who have, I don't want to call them friends, but have at times been the only companions that I've had. And now I'm ready to go to this portal and avenge my past nemesis, Ryan.
They're good birds, Max. They're good birds.
They're all right. They can
could
be
be.
good. Sometimes they suck.
You know, what is the concept of good or evil to a bird?
Exactly.
You know. Kelly, I'm sorry, Julia, would you like to talk about
Sure.
Kelly?
Who is who? Sure.
The mazes and monsters here.
Yep. Kelly is the she's the how do we describe her? She's having a time, really.
Yeah.
She is the resident rogue cleric hybrid who may or may not be dead. She doesn't want to talk about it, but she's gonna have to. She mostly gets up to highwayman activity in this here Anoon, and she is direly invested in what's going on with this missing city. Because she kind of sort of lives there when she's not here doing highwayman activity.
Very fair and very concerning. And Corey, would you describe Wayne, please?
Hey, how are you? I'm Wayne Hovicheck. My one goal in life was to enter the NHL and play with my hero Wayne Gretzky, and that kind of didn't work out because there's no NHL in this world. So I decided, fuck it. Why not let that stand in the way of my goals? So I decided to invent my own sport called Gretzky. It's kind of like hockey, but better. And ultimately, my goal was to make a Gretzky a widely known sport and to become the best player at it, widely renowned, win the cup, and I've pretty much accomplished all of those goals. So now I'm really excited to be a super secret agent, and I'm ready to tackle this next chapter of my life.
Easy come, easy go. Life is a journey.
He's
A
so
highway,
wholesome.
even.
Life is a
Watch out for the highwaymen on the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can and will
and-
rob you.
Coming hard with the quotes tonight. We're gonna have an entire line of merch by the end of the stream. So the first visual that we'll get into is similar enough to the last couple that each session has kind of started with, which is a view of Calderon itself from a distance, and really just driving home exactly how sprawling and what a marvel it truly is, with these buildings that rise higher than any of the natural features around it, soaring spires made out of marble and other types of stone. It is not a cohesive city by any means. It is not uniform. There are layers to it, as it is a place that has built up over time, added onto itself, grown and expanded, even as the people who live there have, even as humanity itself has. And where it all began, all of this really, is the neighborhood now known as Cheapside, the coastal section of the city. The first settlement created by humans when they first landed on the shores of Anoon, fleeing the nightlands that they came from. And it is in Cheapside, in one particular alley, that even though an hour or more has passed, an old die-day woman with a heavily wrinkled face, the teeth that she has remaining are sharp, but more of them are missing or cracked. Her large bat-like ears, sort of pulled back, tied together in the typical Day fashion, crouches in the shadows, rocking back and forth on her heels and looking down at a box in front of her that still is covered in stones. But we leave her to these thoughts, and we catch up with our four intrepid heroes across the city. As you approach Calderon's Henge Gate, having been here for about 10 years, most of you, maybe not Hunter, but for the rest of you, almost certainly you can at least recognize a Henge Gate. Most of you have probably been through one at some point. But Henge Gates are, they connect the major cities and settlements of the kingdom of Aloran. They are pretty much exactly what you would imagine, just sort of stone arches, very large, and the air in between the arch, the two sides of the arch and the top, shimmers with a strange sort of distortion in the light. It's basically a teleport. You can step through it, and there are always attendants standing by so that they can configure your destination for you. It's more of an art than it is a science, but Henge Gates are such a prolific part of life in Anun that mistakes are very rare. But that is the main reason why there aren't Henge Gates everywhere. It would be too many variables to account for if there were.
Gotcha.
That's fair.
Ooh. What is my intelligence? It's bad. Never mind. I would not have thought this. Never mind.
I mean, it depends if it's a good idea or a bad idea.
It's not so much of an idea. I guess it's just like I'll ask it as a general question. Do we get the same vibe off of these Henge Gates as we did when we fell through the water originally?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a me question. Max would never even connect the two. So you're allowed to be like, yeah, I don't know.
The similarity between the Henge Gates and when you fell through the water is, it's a possible connection you could draw. Like, I don't think that's an intelligence check or anything like that. If that is something that Max thinks, and that could be something Max thinks, it does bear startling similarity to how you came to Anun. Because falling through the water put you in Stonehenge, and then stepping through the archway, getting thrown through the archways of Stonehenge is what sent you to Anun.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
With our special symbols.
Oh yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah. That is true. But this Henge Gate also has symbols, but you don't recognize any of them. None of them really seem to be similar to the ones that you saw at Stonehenge. These are much more alchemical in nature, more formulaic. And there's a line that you sort of find yourself standing in of people as waiting to use the Henge Gates. But as the line starts to move and people start drawing closer to it, you can see the attendants that are operating the gates sort of just like speaking to the person in line, the first person in the line, and then bustling back and forth between the two main archways and just kind of like reaching out with their hands and touching different symbols, but not in any sort of pattern that makes sense to you all. It might as well be random for all of the meaning that it holds for the four of you. But whenever they complete their pattern, the shimmering of the air alters slightly. You can't get a clear picture of what's on the other side of it, but you can see where something changes, almost like looking at something through steam.
So, has anyone gone through one of these before?
Oh yeah, a bunch of times. Fastest way to get to an away game.
A
Okay.
few.
What's it like?
Pretty sickening, honestly.
Do you ever like when you have to sneeze and then it kind of doesn't come and you're like, oh no, and then you're there,
And then you throw up.
and then you throw up and poop.
Those two are unique to them. The sneezing, yes. The throwing up, never.
You've thrown up
like,
before. I know you have.
Mm-mm. And you can't prove it either, Max.
Fine, I
You
haven't
pooped
thrown up either.
huh? Yeah, but you've pooped though, for sure.
No, I haven't. Dude.
You pooped
What?
before at the party. I remember. You were all up.
No,
Everybody was
I
doing
didn't.
stuff. We were partying. And we're like, "Where's Max? He's somewhere over there pooping."
I mean,
10 years ago, dude.
I have
at
a good
Ryan's
memory.
House? Is that what
Sure
you're
as
talking
hell
about?
goes
when
10
I went
years
to
back.
the bathroom like a normal person?
their normal bodily functions have happened in 10 years. Yes, I'm just meaning I've never thrown up immediately after going through the gate.
yeah, I mean,
Either way, it's kind of weird. It's like you're waiting for something to happen and then it just happens.
it's like
Yeah,
when you were a kid, when you like went in circles all the time and to try to make yourself dizzy, and then you would go a little too far, and then you would fall on the ground, and like the world was spinning, and your head hurt for the rest of the day. And sometimes you threw up.
Yeah, basically,
It's normal.
Just imagine the worst thing you've ever felt. It's like that, but worse.
It's a little cold.
And a
And it's
little warm.
cold. Yeah.
Yeah, Hunter just looks
sweats.
horrified by all of this.
It's like when you're if you've ever been on a roller coaster and someone like lifts up some nuts and bolts and they're like, these came out of your seat. Like we're just punking Hunter right now.
Seatbelt's not tight enough, bro. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, you were in line long enough to do all of this, to make Hunter terrified for what's about to happen, and then the line, progresses as you're having these conversations, and before you know it, you're up at the front, and one of the attendants, a smaller, older woman, human woman. The other attendant is a much younger woman, but they both wear the uniform of the henge attendants, which is not particularly interesting to look at. It's basically just sort of like a slate gray smock, and a fairly dumb looking hat. But yeah, this little old lady approaches you and she says, "Now, where would you be going, dearies?"
Max
Stormhold?
leans over, yeah, and is like, "Where are we going again?"
Stormhold?
Oh yeah.
Stormhold, yeah. And she starts to turn away, and then she stops and she looks back at the four of you and she says, "I'm sorry, I must have misheard you. I thought you said Stormhold."
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Is there a problem?
Something weird about that?
It's none of my business, of course, but yeah, you seem a nice enough lot. Must you? Wouldn't
Yes.
you rather go someplace else?
Kelly's gonna take a step up closer to the woman and she's going to say, it's not the final destination, it's transitory. There's not really another gate close to where we're going, so We just have to make a quick stop. You don't have to
Oh.
worry about us, ma'am. We won't be staying.
I see, I understand. Yeah, well, you just be careful. You keep an eye on your wallets for me, and don't go talking to any strangers or taking any deals. But she turns and calls out to the other attendant and says, "Stormhold," and the other attendant starts touching symbols in complicated patterns. And it only takes about 20 seconds, but the air, the shimmering changes slightly. And as it does so, you all feel sort of a gust of cold wind on your faces, but nothing else. And the old lady steps to the side and gestures for you to go on.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Max, I walk up to Hunter and just put a big hand on his shoulder, and I say, "You'll be fine," and I just step through.
And Hunter's just like, yeah, thanks, Max, and then follows after him.
I have a bag ready just in case.
Absolutely. Assuming the rest of you go through, it is, it's everybody handles the henges a little bit differently. So it's entirely up to you whether it's a very unpleasant experience, a mildly unpleasant experience, or barely an experience at all. But as you step through that gate and then step out into the cold air of the north, you find yourselves in Stormhold, which we'll get to in just a second. Does Max throw up?
No, I'm good, bro. I'm good. I got pissed.
Sure. Go on.
Piss out of where? Your mouth would throw up?
Shut up. Yeah, Max definitely throws up.
Mhm.
It's a bad experience every time.
Yeah. How do you think Hunter handles it, JD, for the first time?
I think it's definitely disorienting for them, and they probably stumble a bit as they get their feet kind of under them and get acclimated to where they are now. But I think for them, it's more like getting doused in ice water. So definitely unpleasant, but not sickening. Just like sort of like surfacing from the water and being like, I'm in a completely different place is their sensation.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Very cool. And I assume Kelly and Wayne handle it fine. You think?
Yeah, Kelly's done this one a lot.
The first thing that Wayne described it as is actually how he experienced it. It feels like very unfulfilling, like he really needs to sneeze and he can't get it out.
Yeah. Makes total sense. Very cool. All right, yeah. So you look around and you find yourselves in Stormhold. I think all of you, probably even Hunter, would be familiar with, at the very least, Stormhold's reputation, if not, if you haven't been here before. Colloquially, it is often derogatorily referred to as Scumhold. It is the only northern city of the kingdom of Aloran, but there are not nearly as many settlements here in the north, so it's generally sort of disregarded as a less important place, and as such, the Council of Calderon tends to neglect it. There is just you've all heard stories of like, oh, don't go to Stormhold. A stranger's just gonna punch you in the face and steal your money, like the second you step in there. But standing here now, if you've never been here before, that strikes you as kind of a strange comparison. There are definitely people, lots of people, milling around the gate. Which makes sense if the reputation of Stormhold is deserved. Obviously, people would be more interested in getting out than coming here. But the people that you see, whether they're standing in line to use the henge or are just sort of passing by this particular square of the city, don't strike you as, waiting to prey on you the second you like step away from a crowd. They just seem like regular folks. Yeah.
Confidently striding through the streets.
Mm.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
been
I
here
was gonna
before.
say,
It's
this
no
is-
big deal.
Yeah,
Feels
this
nice
is
up here. A little chill in the air.
Yeah.
Like home.
you're from the north, aren't you? Where
Yeah.
you landed?
Dakota, North Dakota. Oh, yeah. For the
Yeah,
most
we're
part,
from
yeah.
Ohio.
Thank you, Max.
when you landed in noon, you were in the north, right? You were in the
Yeah.
mountains.
Yeah, that's right.
So you may have been here before. That's totally up to you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
You know, it was
Cool.
good coming to Stormhold because there was always, guys ready to scrap. And you explain the game of Gritsky to them, tell them all they got to do is slide around and get to hit people. They're pretty much about
Oh
it.
yeah.
It's a pretty
Gritsky
solid sport in this place.
Gritsky's huge in Stormhold for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll probably see some people I know as we go along.
mhm,
There's
mhm.
there's probably people Kelly knows as well, because I think we discussed Stormhold is like the seat of where the Thieves Guild is located that she's a part of.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. You probably don't see anyone, immediately that you recognize, but but that's a good question. Stormhold is basically passing through Stormhold is basically the fastest way for you to get to Kalefell. Do you plan to stay here, or are you just trying to get to Kalefell as quickly as possible?
What time is it?
Well, I mean, assuming you came straight here, I think it was pretty early when you went to Cheapside
Mm-hmm.
and you questioned, God, what was his name?
Alexander.
Yes.
No,
It doesn't matter
Alexander's
what
our
his name is,
buddy.
because we committed
His name is
Demento
Dr.
Memorai to
Corrigan.
No.
Dr. Corrigan. So his name was Dr. Alexander Corrigan. Your
Yes.
buddy's name is Alec
McMorrow.
McMorrow,
Yeah.
which
No.
which
it's
is on
okay.
me. But
It's okay to forget what the doctor's name is, because we performed
'Cause he
Demento
is
Memorai and he's gone.
emotionally unavailable.
We've destroyed him and his life work.
Mhm.
yes,
Shame.
Yeah.
you hate to see it.
Fine.
I don't think Kelly wants to like stop and stay, but definitely like see if anyone here has heard anything. Because like
About
Yeah,
Calfell.
absolutely.
yeah, about Calfell, because it's in between, so it's like hey, hey. I just came from Calderon. They said the town's gone. Have you heard? The town's fucking gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely know like well, yeah, we'll say that there's definitely a tavern within the city that you know the majority of the people who hang out there. Probably your crew were regulars.
All right. I will lead the way there, but I will say to the rest of them, it's like, listen, I would assume it goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Do not mention the whole wyvern thing. Don't do it, don't breathe it, don't imply it. We did not speak to the Council of Calderon City for any reason. Okay?
Understood.
I swear to God, I will hurt you.
Over and
Did
out.
you hear it though? Did you hear me in your ear? Oh, I forgot to say your name.
You forgot to say
Next
my
time
name.
I'll remember.
No, thank you so much.
Just whispered to your wrist.
That's how magic works.
I mean it. I don't care. I don't care if you guys embarrass me here. That doesn't matter. Just keep your mouths fucking shut.
Okay,
Okay,
Mom.
yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, Kelly, are you leading this drinking establishment that you're familiar with?
I sure am. I'm gonna take this
Alright.
hassle of colorful idiots with me.
Stormhold, the impression that you get as you walk through Stormhold, it is an old city that has seen better days. Everything looks very solidly built. All of the buildings, the streets are very solid, but everything is also very weathered. And the people that you walk past, while they they don't seem particularly hostile towards you, they don't seem particularly interested in you either. They seem mostly just everybody seems to be very into minding their own business here. But on your way to the tavern, you step into the main square of Stormhold, which contains a much greater number of people. Kelly and Wayne, you would realize pretty much right away what is taking place here. Max, I mean, Hunter, you would probably almost certainly have no idea. Max, you could possibly, depending if you've been here before, but also hard to say.
It's been a while.
But yeah, you step into the square and it's just very crowded. It's very full of people, all sort of gathered, pressed towards the middle, and there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of very excited noise from this crowd. You can see like a tent off to one side with like tables set up in front of it. There are like mugs of presumably ale or beer sitting out on them. People keep like stepping up, taking mugs, leaving some coins, and then stepping back into the crowd. As you're sort of taking all of this in, standing there, you hear a great shout come up. One voice shouting. You're not sure if it's in pain or victory or what, but this voice cries out, and the crowd kind of like goes crazy. They start cheering, yeah, you start, skirting the edge of the crowd, I imagine. As you do so, a gap kind of opens, and you can peer in, and you see in the middle of this crowd, sort of a bowl in the middle of this square. It dips down. You can see a row of like wooden stakes around the outside that keeps the crowd from getting too close. But beyond that, yeah, you can basically see a pit. And whatever's happening in that pit is what has everybody's attention currently.
I'm getting up there. What's happening in the pit? I gotta get in there.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
bet I can guess what's going on from my many
Strutting up there.
experiences in this tavern. But I gotta see it with my own eyes.
You kind of like press your way to the front as this crowd opens up a little bit. Two of the people in front of you step away to get more beers, refill their drinks. You step up to the edge to look down. And what you see is like I mentioned, a bowl. It's not particularly deep, but it does it slopes down into the middle of it. And at first you think the bottom of it is covered in ice. But a second later, upon further inspection, you realize that what it's actually covered in is glass. The entire bottom of this pit is solid glass. And Kelly and Wayne, you would be very familiar with Stormhold's Thunderdome.
Somebody's having a property dispute today.
Yeah. Kelly, do you want to fill? I imagine Max just looks like Christmas came early.
Oh
And
yeah,
is like,
baby.
what is happening? What is this?
Yeah, but Kelly will kind of like, she takes a glance into the pit and she's like, oh, okay. And then as she steps back, she sees, I guess, Hunter kind of like looking around at all of this and leans forward.
I should specify. Sorry, in the pit at the bottom of it, on this glass surface, are two men, just absolutely beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
So Kelly will lean over and she'll be like, so around here, pretty much all disputes are legally settled by trial by combat. So
That's awesome.
this could be about anything from you owe me $5 to, you know, we're getting divorced. Doesn't matter. It's all settled down there.
So you said you had one guy playing the goal and then you pulled an alternate in halfway through, and come on, man, you got a roster set. You can't just pick whoever you want halfway through the game.
So you
Uh,
take care of it
Me,
there.
I push someone here, go in the pit.
I mean,
You push him
that
in the
depends
pit.
on if they want to fight you in the pit. There's usually a little bit more somebody gets something if someone wins.
They get to push me.
They can push you anyway.
No, they can't.
They can
No,
try.
they can't.
Sure, if you think the only way to settle you pushing another human being is to get in the pit, then someone will get in the pit with you, Max.
Hyperbole.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of you for that one. No, you're right. Good job.
Ironically, fights are one of the few disputes that are not usually settled in the Thunderdome, because
Damn it.
it's the same thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Normally, like, whoever wins that fight. There's no dispute.
Mm.
The fights are for like, and actually, Kelly, as you're explaining this, one of the people nearby leans in and says, "Oh, do you know Tom and Rich?"
Yeah.
Is that Tom and Rich or Tom and Rich getting a divorce? I can't tell with all the blood.
Yeah, they're getting a divorce.
No.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out who keeps the farm.
Oh, shit. Well, didn't Tom build the house?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Tom did most of the work. Rich is a good for nothing. But maybe hopefully he'll lose.
Yeah, Kelly will yell down into the pit. She'll be like, "Come on, Tom!"
I gotta say though, you should see Rich on a pair of skates. Fly out there. Come on, Rich.
Max like looks a little stressed now. He's like, "Come on, Rich."
As you're looking around, Hunter, I'm going to assume that you're sort of the only one not utterly engrossed in this display
Hunter
of
is just
violence.
like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Why is this the way we resolve things? Okay, I guess this is how we do it here.
Party.
So you look around a little bit, and you see that there's a sort of an uneven wooden platform that extends out slightly over the edges of the Thunderdome. And on one of these like slightly extended platforms is a statue made out of some sort of black stone of a giant bird of some kind. The statue itself is maybe about 10 feet tall, but you get the impression from the wingspan of the statue that if this were to be a real creature, it would be much, much larger. And at the opposite end from that is a seat, basically a throne of a similar type of material with a man sitting in it. You have a hard time estimating his height, but you get the impression that he's very lanky. And if he stood up, you think he would be well over 6 feet tall. He's kind of slouched down in his chair. He has very pale, sallow skin, and this like very limp, long black hair that's sort of tangled up and shot through with silver as well. There is no sign of like a beard or stubble or any type of facial hair on his face. He has very sharp cheekbones, and he kind of just has his hands steepled across his face. But as he readjusts his position, you can see parallel scars across each cheek, and resting across, actually leaning against the side of his chair is a huge sword, unsheathed, unsheathed, and the blade is unlike any type of metal you've ever seen. It has a greenish sheen to it.
Interesting.
I want to fight him.
How's Max doing?
So bad.
And he's just kind of presiding over everything. He's very focused on watching the fight in the Thunderdome.
So I will say Hunter would kind of like lean into Kelly and just ask, "Who is that?" and nod towards the
Max
man.
leans in too, just to hear.
Yeah.
That is Lord Blackwing. He's kind of in charge. Well, he is in charge, but in the sense that he's not going to get involved unless this can't be resolved in the Thunderdome.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then
the-
is there
the
like
general-
a bigger Thunderdome?
What?
Is there like a bigger Thunderdome for like bigger problems?
I mean,
Is that what
usually-
the
Supreme
sword is for?
Thunderdome.
Usually
Make your way
Lord,
up
I
the
just want to know
chain.
where he's fighting.
he'll just take you out wherever you're standing.
You can try.
Oh, Max.
Try.
Oh,
The,
Max,
the
it's only
same-
been 2 days. Don't make me lose you again.
The same bystander, the same observer who told you about Tom and Rich's dispute, sort of leans back in to you, Max, and says, "You asked earlier, you know, what happens if you fight somebody and then they win and you push them." And then the person like points to Lord Blackwing and says, he kills you.
Cool. I like this city, and I
I'm
want to go and put some coins down and grab a mug of beer.
Wait, Kelly kind of like watches Max walk away and turns to Wayne and's like, "Did you never bring him here before?"
No, he was out there doing his thing. We ended up not getting out here as much because they love the sport here. I mean, they didn't need any extra help. They kind of just let it carry them away.
Well, I believe that, but I'm surprised you never brought him here.
Oh, I've been here before. It was just a long time ago and with a different group of people that were not interested in this sort of gore.
Oh, did you come here while you were in your
debauchery.
like weird cop phase?
It wasn't a weird cop phase. I'm not a cop.
All right, bud.
If you're a cop, you have
The
to tell
Azure
us.
Knights were
law.
a gallant organization, okay? Until they weren't. And that's when I left.
Until they
so
became
if anyone
cops.
is a cop, they're until what?
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 Sounds
Do
like
we
something
need
a
to
cop
resolve
would...
this in the Thunderdome? Because I will.
We got dibs. Downs. Put 2 coins on the railing of the Thunderdome.
Kelly's like, "I'm not gonna fight you in the Thunderdome today. Maybe tomorrow, but not today. We've got
We'll
stuff
make
to
an
do."
appointment. We'll make an appointment. There's a sign-up sheet. No problem.
What was his name? Lord Blackwing?
Yes. Lord Corvid Blackwing, I think is his full name.
Corvid?
It's
With a K.
Korved.
Oh my God, Blackwing. Damn, if I die, I come back as him, please.
Yeah. So you see Tom and Rich fight on. You know, it's getting ugly. Like not the fighting, but like they're starting to like bring up problems in their marriage that have just been sort of like stewing for a very long time. You know, yeah, like things. Yeah, like Tom never did the dishes, and Tom was like, well, you never asked me to do the dishes, and Rich was like, I shouldn't have to ask you to do the dishes. You should just do them because you want to do them. Tom's like, that doesn't make any sense. Who wants to do the dishes?
Doesn't make any sense. Who wants to make it for real?
Yeah. They don't show any signs of stopping anytime soon.
Probably after like 10 minutes, Max is like, next.
Yeah, I think you like get the impression that neither one of their hearts are really in this. And it's gonna like people around you are starting to like wander off, just kind of like, this not gonna be over anytime soon.
So how long does this run for? Like, is this 24/7? That would be cool.
Well, yeah, people have problems to resolve all the time. So, I mean, it's just here. It's not like they put a fence up.
I want to see a 3 a.m. fight.
We can come back at 3 a.m.
But why?
It's probably cooler. I don't know.
Kind of the same problems at night.
If you're fighting at 3 a.m.,
Darker
3 a.m.,
you've got
real problems.
Probably nocturnal. A lot of nocturnal people that live here in this city.
You know what?
Same kind of problems.
That. You know what? You're right. I didn't think about that. I'm sorry, Wayne.
You know, you'd think that, but the 3 a.m. Thunderdome matches tend to be like just like drunk people who are like, this guy drank my beer, and that guy's like, no, I drank my beer. Your beer's over there. And
I have more of a chance at 3 a.m.
Yeah, they're just like Thunderdome now. Yeah, it's even more. It's even worse than this. But yeah. If you're watching, if you're trying to be entertained,
you can see some good fights sometimes, but they're unpredictable. I saw a guy get his lower jaw ripped off one time. It was great.
Whoa!
Have you ever fought in the Thunderdome, Kelly?
Kelly?
Don't
lie.
Yeah, I fought Carmen in the Thunderdome.
Whoa! Who's Carmen?
Carmen? Oh shit, I didn't tell Carmen I was leaving Calderon. Carmen's back in Calderon.
Smash cut to Carmen just like looking at a watch, standing there like John Travolta.
I didn't tell Carmen I was leaving. Yeah. I fought Carmen a couple times in the Thunderdome. He doesn't know when to quit.
That is sick. And I go over and I grab a beer for Kelly.
Yeah, you grab a beer off the table. Nobody stops you. You just leave your coin there. Honestly, it seems to be kind of like on an honor system. People don't really seem to be paying much attention.
That's dope.
But everybody's like leaving coins and stuff. But assuming that you continue on your path, the tavern that you had in mind, Kelly, is right off the beaten path of the Thunderdome. I should also mention that the Thunderdome sits in the shadow of Blackwing Tower, Lord Blackwing's residence, which is this towering black spire. You're not sure. Parts of it seem to be made of different materials. It's all black, but some of it seems to be stone, and then some of it seems to be like iron. It strikes you as a structure that makes no architectural sense. Like, it should not stand. But it is enormous. It is very tall.
I actually I lost this tooth in the Thunderdome, and Wayne's got like a
You were in
big
the
smile with like one missing tooth down at the bottom.
You were in the Thunderdome? Of
I
course
was in
you
the
were.
Thunderdome, yeah. I
Damn
scored
it,
a
dude, I
goal,
need
and
to
this
get
guy
in
was
there.
saying, "Oh, that goal's not legitimate," and I was like, "I'll beat your ass in the Thunderdome." Yeah,
Cool.
I scored that goal. I'll tell you what.
I buy Wayne a drink on their way to the tavern.
Cheers, bud.
Cheers, dude.
Yeah,
You
I
deserve it.
imagine that while the people of Stormhold are really into Gritsky as a sport, it took a really long time to get them to play the game. Like, because they would just get on the ice on skates and then just fight each other until one team was unconscious.
Yeah,
and
the
not
guy was
do any
saying
of the
he
other-
won just because he beat a bunch of my guys up. I was like, you didn't even score one goal there, bud. We got it worked out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did we even score a goal when we played? I don't even remember.
Did.
Yeah,
We did
scored
score.
one goal, one and done.
You scored
Yeah,
one
and
goal,
we beat 'em
which is
up.
all it takes.
And
Not a
we did.
hard
So
game.
it's all well and yeah, very straightforward. It's all well and
Very
good if you
straightforward game.
beat the other team unconscious, as long as you got a goal first.
There you go.
Uh,
Because otherwise, what are
Yeah,
you doing
you-
on the ice? We're just slip sliding around, slapping each other around.
Like fools.
exactly.
It's
Um,
a gentleman's sport, I say.
and then, as this conversation is taking place, you realize that you've reached your destination. You look up and you see a tall stone building, just as weathered as every other structure here in Stormhold. There's a short wooden staircase leading up to two large double wooden doors that are already open. Sort of an open air situation at the moment. People coming and going. It's not super crowded inside because a lot of people. We lost Raph, but oh no, you're back.
I don't know what just happened. You guys all
It's okay.
disappeared. And
It was very quick.
You disappeared.
You disappeared.
I'm here.
Yeah, not a ton of people in here. A lot of people out watching the festivities, but the sign over head of the door, the hanging sign, says it is the Rough and Tumble, but Rough is spelled Ruff,
Oh,
and on the sign there is a picture of what you're pretty sure is a corgi.
sick.
They sponsored a team, the Stormhold Snappin' Pups. They did all right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Kelly will hold the door open and usher them in. Like, all right, let's go.
The doors are already open, so you can just sort of step on in. Kelly, you recognize the bartender. He's pretty much always there. Although he's not, super friendly. Tends not to give out his name. You're pretty sure you've gleaned from past conversations in this place that his name is Rodney.
Rad.
And yeah, he's just kind of a older man, bald head, got an apron on, pulling drinks behind the bar. He nods at you, at the four of you as you enter, and yeah, you step in. It is a large open air room. There are lots of tables in here. Very few of them are occupied at the moment. What would you like to do?
When we sit down, Max takes a seat with the seat facing the door.
Makes sense.
Kelly will get them situated at a seat, and then she's gonna head up to the bar. Like, she's gonna get drinks, but also so she can ask the bartender who's around, meaning who from the crew is around, and then as kind of like casually as to not start any kind of panic if there is a panic. Hey, did you hear Calfel's missing? Which I guess would more likely be phrased as, hello, 4 drinks. Who's around? Has anyone come through from Calfel? In that kind of.
Right. He looks you up and down. It's impossible to tell if he recognizes you or not. But he gives you a once over, and he starts pouring drinks from the barrels behind the bar, kind of idly talking to you as he's doing so, but his back is to you now. He says, I'm honestly not sure I've seen too many of your friends here recently. But Calefell, that's another matter. Strange stories.
Strange like the strange stories I've heard from Calderon?
Yeah. I imagine so. Whole place disappeared.
You think it's true?
I haven't seen it for myself, but I imagine folks got no reason to lie about it.
Not the kind of thing you gain from lying about it.
Imagine I would have heard otherwise by now if it wasn't true. I'll set the drinks down in front of you.
Mm-hmm. Kelly'll nod and she'll pay for them. She'll say, don't plan on staying for too long, so if anyone else asks who's around, it's not me.
Was there anyone in particular that you would expect to be in Stormhold, Kelly, from your crew?
I think Kelly would hope by some chance Dion would be there, but the chances of Dion being here are always slim because she mostly stays in Calfell. So, and then Carmen, she left in Calderon, and then the rest of the people who she kind of like splintered off with for doing her kind of Barrow activity would also probably be in Calfell because it's closer to Barrow. So she's not super optimistic that anyone she's like close to will be here.
Mm-hmm.
There will be other people in the crew who she knows from when she's done other jobs with other groups, but no one she's looking to like get roped in with right now.
Right. Yeah, okay. He sets the drinks down in front of you, gives you that information. He turns away. Roll me a perception check. Actually, what's your passive perception?
My passive is 15.
Cool. Your passive is 15. As you are like going to get the drinks and turn away to go back to your table, out of the corner of your eye, you see a figure sort of entering your personal bubble and like reaching out for you.
Gonna do a quick like sharp turn towards them before any like physical contact is made. Not gonna say anything, just gonna look at them.
Okay. And you spin around and you find yourself face to startled face with somebody you recognize. He looks a lot scruffier than last time you saw him. but you recognize the handsome, if blank face of Lindsay Ardane.
Oh, Lindsay. Just immediately, she's just like, oh, Lindsay, what are you doing in here?
Pretty much immediately, you become aware that he is very drunk, and he like sways on his feet a little bit, smiles at you, but then when you like when he sees you, he smiles in recognition, very very wide, very happy. But then when you ask him what he's doing here, his expression changes a little bit, and he says, "Well, I have nowhere else to be, do I?" Sort of looks off into the distance, like 1,000-yard stare.
Oh. Kelly's gonna be like, oh, does this have something to do with your dad, Lindsay? And then she's gonna, like, still looking at him, like, reach one hand back to the table where the others are and kind of, like, motion at Wayne.
Wayne is looking at a series of photos along the wall of young kids growing up over like the course of 5 years, and then more pictures being placed. And there's like a hand-drawn poster that says, "Screw the tiger lilies, snapping pups rule," and it's like a hand-drawn poster of like a corgi frothing at the mouth. And like a little tear starts to form just at the thought of these little kids that have started to enjoy this sport. And then Wayne kind of notices and he's like, "Oh shit!" And he like gets up and starts walking over there.
She'll be like, Lindsay, do you know Wayne? Do you know my friend Wayne? She'll just pull him in.
Hey
Like,
there,
Wayne,
how
you've
are you,
met
bud?
Lindsay Ardane, haven't you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. How are you now, Lindsay? You look good.
He looks very like he looks very intently like he like narrows his eyes, looks very confused, his eyebrows knit, like he's trying to place you, and he's like, I'm sorry, have we met before? I don't remember.
Yeah. Gritsky, you remember Gritsky? And Wayne kind of takes the stick. He's like, "You remember? You were, well, I guess you probably don't remember super well. You were pretty drunk, but you bet on our team. Well, actually, you bet against our team, and then you lost. But then from every game afterward, you started betting on our team. You probably made and lost a bunch of money."
His expression goes more confused by the second. He cannot follow what you are saying to him at all. And like, as you're coming to the end of your sentence, he just shifts his focus back to Kelly and starts to say, it's all gone. It's all, and unexpectedly, he sort of lunges at you.
Immediately. Peeled out. Hacks out.
Okay. Bunch of things are gonna happen at the same time here. Max, so Lindsay lunges at Kelly. Max, you stand up, you have pull your shield out, you pull your axe out in your other hand with a ring of metal as it clears. And almost at the same second that you do that, you hear a loud thump from behind you, back towards where like the hearth is. And you, all of you sort of realize that what you maybe thought was just a piece of furniture over by the hearth is actually a giant corgi that about like 10 feet tall at the shoulder. And it is like It is up on like all of its paws, and it is staring directly at you, Max, and sort of growling with its like hackles up.
You lunched. What do you want me to do?
It's okay, Max.
I feel like
Are you
Hunter's
sure?
going to try to get between Max and the Corgi because
I'm
they
not
don't
gonna
want Max
kill
to
a
hurt
dog.
it. Well, I don't know what you're gonna do.
I
The
want to take
corgi's
this guy
not doing.
but that's me.
The
take
corgi's
the
not
corgi
doing
to the
anything. It's just
Thunderdome.
sort of like glaring at you, Max. Like as long as you have your weapon and your shield out.
Mm. Can I put my? I want to put my. Well, this. I want to put my axe back, but have my shield kind of out and still tipped towards Kelly and see how it reacts.
It sits when you put your axe away, but it keeps watching you.
In that case,
And,
can I just put it back and then just grab Lindsay and just
He's-
have him sit down?
He's okay, Max. He's just drunk.
Yeah. He you fully caught him. He would have hit the ground if you hadn't. It was less of a lunge and more of a trip. Yeah.
I think I've realized what he says when everything's missing. Lindsay, were you going to Calfell? Did you see that it's gone? Lindsay, is it really gone?
Yes. Yeah, I was returning that evening. I'd left in the morning. I was returning in the evening, and right as I rounded the corner, there was nothing there.
No.
It was empty.
No scorch marks, no bodies, no burnt buildings, just nothing.
No buildings. There were some things, debris, paths, but the fountain, the buildings, the people, all gone.
She'll kind of pat him on the shoulder and give him her drink and be like, "It's okay, Lindsay. We're gonna find out where it all went." Did you see anybody else when you came here? Did you see anybody else from Calfell who made it up here?
No, nobody else. Just, well, never mind. It's probably nothing.
The whole town's gone, Lindsay. It might be something.
It's just everything was gone. The buildings, the people, the only thing that was left were the birds. I've never seen so many birds.
What kind of birds?
Black ones?
Big black ones or little black ones, Lindsay?
Big. Very, very big. Must have hundreds of them, perhaps. Just staring.
Oh, out of character thought, what if all of the people have become birds?
Good thing that I speak with animals.
Which historically has not worked on birds.
No, it has not. They just said murder over and over and over again.
It's true.
You need to learn to speak with birds. And then
I do.
Probably do something.
Okay, Lindsay. Well, You're doing okay here? This is weird. You're like fine.
Yeah, I suppose as well as I can be. I'm sure Father will be back at some point.
He's gonna be in the capital for a while, I think, buddy.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
And he like reaches down to his like belt and pulls out like a pouch that like jingles and he hands it to you, Kelly, and says that's all I have.
You know what? Here's the deal. I'll get this from you when I come back, okay? I can't carry it with me.
Almost he looks almost like offended and he's like, You're not robbing me?
You know, it doesn't count if you hand it to me, Lindsay. You gotta wait until you're not paying attention, and then I'll get it.
You always rob me.
I know, Lindsay.
Nice.
I know.
It's like a thing.
Yes. All right, I'll take half now, and I'll steal the other half later. How about that?
Very well.
Kelly will take the bag and like pretend to take his money, but she's not. She will like 100% pretend to like do it, and then she'll be like, "All right, here you go.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get the rest later from you, Lindsay." She just looks at the others, and she's just like,
What happened? I'll be back. Yeah.
"Now where are you going? I just got you a drink."
Oh yeah, I take it with me.
It's an open carry.
I just wanna go outside and see if the ravens are back. Because then
Yeah.
they are?
Yes. I
Cool.
would say that yes, they are. As you like step out and into the like as you step out from the rough and tumble, where the doors are sort of already hanging open, you don't see them at first, and you're like,
Mhm.
oh, okay. And then you kind of look around and you realize that they're all sort of lining the tops of the doors that are open, just like staring down at you.
Like on top of the doors? Okay.
Yeah.
As soon as I see them, I'm like, okay. And I go back in, and I just kind of lean down on the table and say, birds are outside again. If we want to ask little man here if those are the same birds or if they're other birds.
Kelly points at Lindsay, and she's like, "You want him to go positively identify these birds?"
You know
No, I
what?
would-
No, it's stupid. Never mind.
No,
No,
Max,
no,
that's
I
a
would-
good
come
I
idea.
would
on, we might
happily-
as well give her a shot. Come on now.
I would happily do this. I would love to.
You don't
Anything
have
I can do to help. Okay.
No,
yes.
Max, that was a really good idea.
That was a great idea.
It
Max.
really was.
Let's go take a look.
Whatever. And I just kind of like
Really?
rough arm Lindsay. Like I just kind of like grab him and drag him outside. Semi on purpose, semi on
Capital.
accident.
Capital idea, actually. And you kind of drag him. He stumbles unsteadily along after you, and
You gotta sober up, man.
Drag
This
him.
can't be good for you. Yeah, I take him outside. I'm like, these birds.
he looks at them and says, well, "I mean, yeah, those are
These
definitely
birds
birds."
exactly.
Oh, I think I misunderstood what it was you were asking me to do. Those are birds.
Are
Um,
these the birds? I'm getting confused now.
I mean, they. Yes, maybe they look. I'm going to be sure if somehow offensive, but they all sort of look the same to me.
Okay, get out of here.
You did.
When he walks in, I just look at him. I'm like, sorry.
Kelly's just like,
Them's the birds.
them is the birds.
It's the birds.
Perhaps I should.
Maybe. Apparently, he doesn't know exactly. So
Could be the birds. Possibly
the
the
birds.
birds.
could not be.
Da
50,
birds.
50% chance them the birds.
I mean, I don't know if any of you are, particularly sensitive to bird culture. I wish I could tell you more about them, but I mean, I didn't get a good look at them. If it helps at all, I ran pretty much right away. I felt I had to tell somebody. Came back here as quickly as I could.
How long ago was this? We just found out about it, but how long ago was this?
3 days, perhaps.
3 days.
But you're sure they were birds? 100% definitely birds.
Did they call?
Which ones? The ones here or the ones there?
The ones there, they were birds, for sure.
Yes, those are definitely birds.
Got it?
And they cawed at you?
Yes. But,
No, nothing.
oh no, yes,
learning a
they
lot
did
here.
do that.
They did
Yes.
that. Okay.
They did do that. Yes.
Birds caw. Got it.
Mhm. I just go up and I get this man a drink of water, like a big thing of water, and some bread.
Perhaps I should accompany you back to Kelfell. I'm sure I would recognize them if I saw them again.
I believe you would, Lindsay. I believe you, but
I feel deeply that I've offended you somehow, and I'm so
no,
sorry.
no, Lindsay, you haven't
No.
offended anyone.
Nope.
Yeah, you gave us really good information. Thank you.
He keeps saying no, but it seems like he means yes.
It's
Here's
just
your
his.
bread.
It's just his tone.
Just kind
feel
of
like
lift
he's-
the water
I feel
up to his mouth. Shh, you're okay. Just drink some.
He drinks
If you
it.
dunk the bread in the
I just-
water, it'll go down your gullet faster. So.
That is an awful word.
Gullet.
Gullet is an awful word.
Terrible.
No, I very much appreciate this. I hope that. I mean, I will go with you, of course, if you need the help. Perhaps I could protect you, but I suppose perhaps.
Okay,
That's
sorry.
Max's
No,
reaction.
yeah, Max just like throws back and just laughs so hard.
See, you didn't offend him, Lindsay. You didn't offend him at all.
But again, it feels that he is laughing at me.
No, he just does this.
I see.
I appreciate your offer, Lindsay. Genuinely, I do. I think it would be best if you stayed here in case you hear anything, and then you can come tell me if you've heard anything.
Yes, I can do that. I can
Mhm.
remain here and find you if I hear anything.
Yes. Keep your ears
Yes.
open.
Okay.
I'm trusting you with this.
Yeah, no, I can do that. We'll do that. And if I hear anything, I'll tell you when you come back for the rest of that gold.
Yep. Because I will definitely be coming back for the rest of that gold. I'm gonna need it.
You
I
really
have.
should just take his gold.
I will come back for your gold, and hopefully I'll be able to tell you can go back to your house. Oh, Lindsay,
Nice.
were your brothers in town?
Oh, yes.
Oh God, Lindsay. It's really just your dad then.
Yes, I suppose.
Oh dear. Yep, okay. Yeah, you stay here. You're probably safer here, honestly.
Yes, he focuses on his bread and water.
You stay here with Corgi and Rodney.
The bartender like looks over his shoulder and says, that's Rodney, and he points to the corgi.
You stay here with Rodney and Rodney.
The bartender shrugs.
You'll be old.
Yeah, Rodney, excuse me, Rodney the dire corgi has just curled up in front of the hearth again.
Yeah.
Still kind of keeping one
Rodney's-
eye open on Max.
Rodney's puppy, Rodney Jr., plays on the snapping pups in like an Air Bud kind of situation.
Oh my God.
That's in part why they're so good.
Adorable.
Yeah, they actually had to ask you if there was anything in the rule book that said a dog can't play Gritsky.
I'll tell you what, I didn't really write a book, so I'll allow it.
There is a kid's book now said all dogs can play Gritsky.
Yeah. I'll allow it.
We love to see it.
We absolutely love to see it.
Everyone was very excited about that. Yes, cool. So yeah, you have that information. You know the whereabouts of Lindsay Ardane. You left him in the safe care of the rough and tumble.
Yep.
What
He will honestly,
do you want to do now?
he will be happier there than anywhere else he could be.
Definitely
Now,
true.
do we have to set up transportation, or are we just walking there?
We're just walking, right?
I was gonna just walk.
Or how long does it take to get there if we walk?
From Stormhold to Kelfell, about a day
Oh, okay. I thought it was gonna be like
on foot.
much longer.
No, the whole
And-
the whole point of taking the Henge to Stormhold was that it was a much shorter walk to Kelfell
Right.
than walking from Calderon to Kelfell.
And just to recap, it goes Stormhold, Kelfell, Burrow,
It's more like
or
Kael'thal.
opposite.
Yeah,
It's more like Stormhold, Kael'thal, Burrow.
Okay.
yeah.
But we're doing them in that order.
Yeah.
Is what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Well, you don't have to go to Barrow.
Oh,
We're-
I mean,
what?
That wasn't
what
part
do
of
you
that wasn't part of
mean?
your
we're going.
that wasn't technically part of your assignment.
We
And
have to get our
leave
friend.
Ryan
Yeah.
Gotta get him
there?
back.
That's not happening.
Friend,
Ryan's
mortal nemesis.
Ryan's dead, you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna bury him.
Ryan's dead, and he
okay.
was apparently stolen and or sold to the undead. There's questions. We gotta have answers.
Yeah.
But first, the town.
Okay.
Ready to go.
Yeah, you can start walking. You will have to travel straight through the night, if you want to get to Kelfell. If you leave right now. But I mean, you could make camp and try to take you get a couple hours of sleep. But if you're just taking the most direct route there, given the time of day that it is by now, you're going to be traveling straight through the night to get there.
Well, I feel like we might
uninterrupted.
as well take the night, we might as well take the night to sleep and
Here?
get fresh in the morning. Yeah, why not?
I mean, yeah, there's places we can stay around here. Head out first thing.
We get a stipend, right? We're on a mission.
I don't think we discussed that part.
We get a stipend.
You didn't say his name.
Damn it. Hold on.
Also, stop saying his name.
Maldo's College Bar. Do we
No,
get a
you don't.
stipend? No.
You receive no reply.
I do have a room in this city. We can
Oh.
just stay.
Cool, yeah. Just leave for the night.
have
We'll wake
5
up nice and
rooms?
early. Get up like
No,
5
we're
or
gonna
6
have to
in
share the
morning,
room, Max.
Go
Wait,
for the walk.
5? Why do I need 5?
Well, we
That's
want to
the-
get there with some daylight. It's gonna
Whatever.
take like a day to get there. Might as well leave early. We'll go to bed early tonight, wake
Yeah,
up, and then that way it'll still be bright out when we get there.
That sounds good. Maybe we could talk about our plan when we get there. As in tonight, discuss.
Sounds good. So we go to the room.
That sound good.
We go to the room
yeah,
and
I mean,
start
you could
talking about
also-
a plan.
It's not too late to rob
Sleepover.
Lindsay Ordain and spend his money on a
Please,
room.
God, please.
He's not gone. He's still at this bar.
Well, we've got half of it, right? Oh
Yeah.
wait, no, we put it back in
No.
the bag.
I
put it
can
back.
steal half of Lindsay's money and get rooms here at the Rough and Tumble if you would rather stay at the Rough and Tumble.
No.
You don't want to stay here with the dog and with Lindsay down the hall?
Corgi is fine. Lindsay, he may not survive the night.
He's been here for 3 days. What are you talking about?
I've been here for 1 day.
Why would you kill him, Max?
Maybe I'd take him to the
Lots of
Thunderbone.
reasons.
Max just may hit him once, and he won't survive the punch.
I mean, that's
Yeah, he's like
true,
paper.
but like, he's just,
You got a crush?
no, he's just
You
dumb.
got a
and
crush?
bored. Max, I rob him more frequently than I rob anyone else, and I think he likes it.
Yeah, he probably does.
I think he's the one with the crush, and that might be a problem. You can rob him. Let's see how that works out. You go rob him. Go on.
I mean, I just have to punch him once.
Max, no.
I won't. Jeez. Unless you want me to. I will.
You know,
I mean,
it's like
he
how
was a bit of a
when,
bird racist, but you know.
I could. Kelly could go hug Lindsay Ordain and just take all his money. It would work out.
it's the little touches that have, like, you know, things you've brought to this world from, you know, Ohio that really make this setting something special, like how Wayne invented Gritsky and Kelly invented fin doming.
Incredible.
Amazing.
Listen, unless you think it's a
and
smart
that's-
idea to
That's a noon.
stay at the Rough and Tumble, keep him near to your heart. What?
I can use my winnings as a professional athlete to buy us a room for the night.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a
There are plenty of
corgi.
other places. Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
Corgi.
Let's
there are
take the
plenty of other
night. Let's
places you
find
could
somewhere
stay.
to
You could also stay
lay our
here. Yeah.
heads. Let's get somewhere, you know, kind of secure. That way we can talk about our business.
Yeah. Maybe you can talk
Cool.
to the Corgi.
All right.
Yeah, I was going to say, may I speak with animals with our dire corgi before we leave?
Yes, you may do that. You can approach him. He is curled up by the fire, and yeah, he sort of lazily opens one eye to watch you as you walk up to him.
Yeah, and Hunter just takes their time in approaching and then says, "Hi, Rodney. I'm Hunter. I'm sorry about my friend Max. He means well."
Well, what's all this then? What's all this messing about in me pub? What? It's quite quite rude pulling weapons in someone's home, isn't it?
It definitely
especially
is.
on a Tuesday.
Especially on a Tuesday, you're right.
On a Tuesday, yes.
I'll make sure that Max doesn't pull any other weapons while he's here.
Never again.
Oh, good, please, yeah. Cool, blimey, see that he doesn't. Hate to have to sink my teeth into him.
He would deserve it if you did.
That's right you are, Squire.
May I pet you, Rodney? Do you like scritches?
Scritches is all right, isn't it? Had my fair share. Have a few more before I die.
So Hunter carefully approaches and pets the dire corgi.
Absolutely, yeah. You scratch him behind his ears. You get some leg kicks. You get some real good leg kicks. Yeah, and
overturns.
yeah, absolutely. Like he the bartender has to like hustle out to move some tables out of the way. But he says them some quality scritches. You're a right good bloke.
Well, thank you, Rodney. And again, I apologize for my friend, and I'll make sure he behaves the rest of the time we're in here.
Yeah, well, just see that he does, and we'll call it square.
Max
That's
is
fair.
visibly nervous.
And then Hunter says their goodbye to Rodney and then steps back to Max and is like, I told him that you're not going to pull your weapon again, so don't.
I won't. Dogs usually don't like me, so big dog that I just want, it's fine. I won't do it again.
Yeah, make sure you don't.
I won't. Never.
Yeah. Good.
And I turn to Roddy. Never.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Thanks for the scritches, bruv.
I'm gonna pull out the thing that I've had in my pack since it's one of my uncommon items that I started with. It is a little stuffed mammoth, and you push the button on it, and it goes rage. And it's little toy raging mammoths. It's the prototype, and I would like to bequeath it to Rodney with the intention that it go to Rodney Jr.
Oh my god!
This is one of a kind. I remember seeing little Rodney Jr. as a pup, and I feel like he'd be the best person to have it. Put it on the chair or something, and tell Hunter to translate.
What the rest of you see is Rodney sniff at it, and then he does one of those like unexpected dog sneezes where like his head just like jerks. But he backs away from it and his hackles come up again. And he Hunter, you would sort of understand generally what he's saying. Just something about that's not quite right.
What is that, Wayne? Rodney doesn't like it.
It's a little toy stuffed mammoth.
Is it the talking that he doesn't like?
Rodney just says it's not right.
Stinks like the dead, it does.
So he's saying that it smells like the dead.
Oh.
I think we should get it away from him very soon.
Hey, where'd you get that? Wayne.
picks it up and accidentally hits the button and it goes rage. I'm so sorry. I really didn't mean. I'm so sorry. It's from Mance. It's the prototype that was supposed to be the first in a long line of raging mammoths plushies. Mance Ardane gifted it to me with my new jersey.
Kelly will kind of turn back around to where Lindsay is occupying the table with his bread and water. She'll say, "Hey, Lindsay, did your dad get a lot of stuff out of Barrow recently?"
Recently, well, I've been here for 3 days. So maybe.
But okay, so before the 3 days, say like 4 or 5 days ago,
Oh,
did your dad get anything from Barrow?
I don't know. He was in Calderon.
Does he frequently get things from Barrow?
Oh, yes.
Shit.
Does he send things there?
Like money?
Like whatever.
I don't actually know. Things just kind of appear, in our house. Food and clothing and really, I guess whatever we've ever needed.
All right, shut up, please.
Kelly will be like, "It's all right, Max.
What
He's
should I
not-
do with this?
I mean,
I mean-
put it back in your bag for now. Get it out of this dog's face."
Nice. Puts it back in his bag.
And Hunter's just like, I am so sorry about that, Rodney. It was meant as a gift. We now realize that that was not a good gift. More scritches.
Oh,
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
You give him more scritches. He says it's fine. And you want to retire to talk about your plan?
Yeah.
yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, you can absolutely just get a room above the rough and tumble. You kind of leave Lindsay to his table. He's just very intent. He's very focused on the bread and the water, unless you speak to him specifically. You retire. The rough and tumble is kind of resembles sort of a long hall. So there are rooms, but they're everything's sort of on the same level. There's not really an upstairs. It's just a very large open building, which most comfortably accommodates Rodney's size. So you kind of just retire to a room that's just off to the side of the main run of the tavern. You are now, all four of you, alone. I'll give you all a choice. Would you like to take a break before talking about the plan, or would you like to take a break before getting to Kalefell?
Let's take a break now.
Yeah.
Time.
All right.
Let's take-
Yeah.
Sounds good. So we are gonna take we'll aim for a 10-minute break. We might finish up sooner. We'll see. But thank y'all for hanging out with us. Don't go anywhere. We will be back as shortly as possible. Thanks so much for sticking with us. I hope you're enjoying the game so far, and we'll see you in just a few short minutes. Bye. And we're back. Hello, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. We have returned from our break. We have refreshed beverages and talked about cats some more, and ready to get
Weird
right on
stuff
back
about
into it.
cats.
Weird stuff about cats, stuff that you'd be fascinated to hear if we were to repeat it on stream. But anyway,
Not without a donation.
not without a
Donate to
donation.
find out.
You want to know the weird animal sex fact that we talk about behind the scenes? You got to donate.
Find it on my Patreon.
That's an incentive now, is animal sex trivia. So get those dollars. Planned Parenthood. So you retired to your room at the Rough and Tumble. to discuss your plans for the future. What are you thinking?
So, I mean, I don't know a whole lot of what we're gonna do when we get there. We're gonna, I guess, look around, kick some rocks, and then head over to Barrow, right?
Well, I mean, I could try to talk to the birds there and see if they say anything more than what Max's birds say.
Hmm. And you're probably gonna shine there. Just kind of check around what we would see, 'cause there's probably not a whole lot to see, but I'm sure you'll find more. Maybe there's tracks. Maybe someone came up and just did some magic stuff, popped this town out of existence. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm worried about the birds though.
you're worried that the birds are the cause of it, or they're attracted to it?
I'm
They're
worried
unhappy.
that they're I'm worried that they're offended. No, I'm worried that they are tied to it somehow, and I'm worried that the ones that follow me,
Hmm.
I look out the window, are also
Hey there.
tied to it somehow. I know. And I want to know if they're related. Why? Does that mean we're gonna disappear next? Does that mean Calderon's next? Does that mean wherever I happen to be is the next city that goes blip? I've never been to Calfell. Was there someone else there that also had this same
Are they
curse
gonna make
situation?
you disappear?
They could never.
They could try.
They could fucking try. I look at the birds
Fight
and I'm
them. I'd fight them in the Thunderdome.
like, I'll fight all 100 of you in the Thunderdome.
One at a time. It's gonna be a long night.
All
That's the
one
fight
at a
that
time.
happens at 3 in the morning.
Here's Max is like, this is it. This is it. I'm settling things for good.
for
Man
real,
versus
yeah.
bird is definitely a more common Thunderdome showdown than you might expect.
Especially here. We got big
Uh,
birds here.
And then we're heading off to Barrow, right? I feel like we could more conceptualize the move to Barrow. What's going on, Max?
Sorry, I just
Are you curious about the big birds here?
well, the ravens at Calfell,
Mm-hmm.
potential ravens.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy, the ravens, Lord Blackwing, giant blackbird statue.
Right.
Oh, that's Tempest.
Wait, who or what is Tempest?
The statue.
The statue's name is Tempest?
It's a statue of Tempest.
Who is Tempest?
The Thunderbird that is rumored to live in Blackwing Tower.
Oh.
Big-
That's
This is-
rad as hell. I'm just saying there's a lot of blackbirds. 3 in one day, it can't be a good omen, you know?
I mean, it doesn't have to be a bad omen, but it does seem weird that there's birds across so many pieces of this. And I guess I wasn't expecting birds. I don't know when there was first talk of there being a disappearing town. I mean, had any of you ever seen The Neverending Story? I was kind of
No.
envisioning it like that.
I think that might be.
Was that a new movie?
Hold on. I think
I
that might
feel
be
like-
outside.
I gotta Google
I
it.
didn't really
I
go to
feel
the
like
theater.
it was close because I checked
It
and
was
I was
it
like,
was definitely out by 1990.
yeah.
Yeah, 1984. So yeah, we would have seen it.
Yeah.
That would have been like late elementary, early middle school for us. So yeah, we'd have
Yeah.
seen
Great time
I'm
to watch Neverending
yeah.
Story.
it. Prime never-ending story.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Miss Robertson played it someday in like 4th grade or something.
Yeah, so I was kind of
It's
thinking
kinda
of it
nerdy.
like that, like the nothing in that, but it sounds like not everything is gone and the birds are there. So I don't know. I'm having a
Okay,
hard
but-
time wrapping my head around that.
I'm just saying, if they're connected, that the center point could be this Blackwing Tower.
It could. I'm honestly kind of more on Wayne's side that it's more likely has something to do with Barrow than Blackwing. Mostly just because I don't see what benefit Blackwing would get out of making a town disappear. You know? Like, not to say that you're wrong, because I don't understand how these birds work, and these birds seem to have some kind of fucked up presence of their own going on. I'm just saying, I think Barrow's probably got something to do with it before Blackwing does.
Okay.
We could always try to ask Blackwing if you want to. Would you like to meet Lord Blackwing, Max?
No.
Are you sure?
No.
So do you know Lord Blackwing?
I think Kelly knows Lord Blackwing in the same way that, like, she has been in the same room as him. I don't think she's ever spoken to him. But I don't think from the environment of Stormhold, I don't think it would be an impossible feat to speak to him.
I kind of think too that, I mean, I don't know about his like experience in the community, but I actually do feel like Little League hockey became kind of a thing in this area, and that like he would be a supporter of that. Like he might show up to games and stuff, and we may have run in the same kind of proud circles. But
also,
possible.
We could get his attention in the Thunderdome.
How?
Are you gonna challenge him to a fight in the Thunderdome?
No, I'll challenge someone and kick their ass so hard that he has to say, "Wow, that's cool. I want to meet that guy."
I mean, that's foolproof plan. I couldn't see it failing.
Thank you.
I mean, you could always go to the Thunderdome and offer to fight in someone's place, but that doesn't really happen too often. People kind of tend to take care of things themselves.
Fair. Okay. I'm thinking our main objective is Calfell. Well, technically our main objective is Barrow, but I just don't want to pass up any potential opportunities or clues that we could find here.
It's very thorough of you, Max.
I'm a professional.
I appreciate your professionalism.
Also, I'm just as a side note, I'm interested in seeing if I can interact with the birds in Calfell the same way I can do so with the ones pecking at the window right now.
Who stalk you?
My stalkers and friends. So watch yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your
They
buddies,
suck.
your pals.
Nah, doesn't sound right. Actually, I take it back.
You don't
Max,
like
you
it.
shouldn't tell them that they suck. They're a little strange, but they don't suck.
They don't suck. They don't. I'm sorry. They don't suck. They just. I just wish they would give me answers, you know?
I mean, they definitely struggle with conversation. I learned a lot more from our friend downstairs than I did from talking to them.
I hate hearing you say that, too.
I'm sorry, Max. I wish I could have
Anyway.
gotten more information.
It's not your fault.
I think we can achieve some of what Max wants to do. I don't think it is outside of the realm of possibility for us to ask Lord Blackwing if he's heard anything about the birds seen over Kalefell. If that is bothering you so much.
Well, my gut is saying if these birds are somehow connected, and if Blackwing is somehow connected, us walking up to Blackwing Tower and being like, "Hey, you sent these murderous crows, man," is probably not the best move. But I mean, I'll go right now. Max starts packing up.
Max, I think we should maybe get information first before we go starting to throw out accusations.
Well, it doesn't have to be phrased as an accusation. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't think it's wrong to go up and ask him and say, hey, we've heard a rumor about some fucking birds. What do you know about the fucking birds? Correct me if I'm wrong, Will. Stormhold in the hills kind of oversees Kalefell a little bit, in that it's the closest. It's kind of like it's like a county.
The way this
thing.
the way the structure of Aloran, the Kingdom of Aloran, works is you have nowadays the Council of Calderon that sort of oversees the entire kingdom and makes decisions for the entire kingdom, and then you have lords at in like major cities who are responsible for the areas that fall under their like jurisdiction. And Lord Blackwing is technically the Lord of the North, or at least of this region called the Highland Hills. You can roll history if you want to know some of the specifics of Blackwing and his rule.
That's a flat roll for me. Let's see how we go.
We have a lot of advantage.
It's true.
It's a 14.
Lot of advantage.
I forgot we had
14's good. Yeah. 14's plenty.
Roll.
So Blackwing is nominally Lord of the North. However, the North gets pretty shortchanged by the council, just because it is one of the least populated areas of the kingdom. Blackwing has no particular love for the council. And Stormhold itself, while he's not a warm man, and while he deeply believes in people proving themselves, hence the Thunderdome disputes, he is a big believer in who wants it more, but he does not let like people go hungry. He does not like live he does not live like lavishly while the people that he's charged with protecting suffer. That's mostly the history of Stormhold and the Highland Hills. Is they're kind of a Comrade Corvid. Stormhold is kind of like left to its own devices with a bad reputation, and Lord Blackwing has very little interest or motivation in like countering any of those claims or like changing the reputation of Stormhold. It suits him fine.
Can I roll something to determine what kind of relationship I have with this man? Like, I don't think we're very close friends or anything, but I'm just curious to see what kind of paths we've intersected in.
I mean, if you have something in mind, we can just say that that your paths crossed in that way.
No, I genuinely think like just like with the snapping puppers, like I feel like as just like a head of the community, he might either like oversee like a little league. Like it's almost like comical how like they defer to the ruler of this place. Like um, there's a ruling that needs to be taken in this game. We're gonna bring it all the way up to the king there. Um, yeah, almost in like he'll show up to like the little league championship ceremony to like crown them, give them the cup or something like that.
Yeah,
And that
yeah,
we've interacted
absolutely.
in that way.
Definitely. I think that's totally fair to say. Like I said, he's not a warm man.
Yeah,
He did
exactly.
not, like he wasn't kissing babies or like patting kids on the heads, but like if he was asked to show up and like present a trophy or whatever, he would do it. He would probably just be like awkward about it.
Yeah, cool.
And the kid probably would have cried because he's
Nice.
like kind of a weird, terrifying man.
Scary. But he
I
means
love him.
I love him so much.
that's like what I
Um,
said. I believe Barrow has something to do with it before Lord Blackwing does. But that doesn't
Okay.
mean he doesn't know. Like he hasn't heard anything. Like he could have heard something, but I don't think he had anything to do with it.
I think Wayne
but
makes
yeah,
like a Blackhawks joke with Blackwing once, and like obviously he doesn't laugh. Like he wouldn't laugh anyway if it was funny, but he doesn't even understand that it's supposed to be a reference to something. And Wayne's like, "Oh yeah, I'm not in the world that I came from."
Yeah.
We'll call the team like the Black Wings, right? And he's like, I don't know what he sounds like. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, he
Sure.
probably would have just been like, oh, that's
So-
my name.
Stop talking to me.
Okay, so we in the morning can go to Blackwing and talk to him, or head out first thing to kill Phil.
I think you want to go talk to him, Max.
I mean, I want to go talk to him,
Let's go talk to him. Why not?
Just go
but
talk
Give it
to
a shot.
this is not.
Bug it.
Okay.
Let's go. We already agreed that we're not leaving until the morning. It's only
Go
the
talk to
afternoon.
him now?
Well, sure.
Yeah, might as well. Fuck it.
Yeah, that might give us more time to plan, depending on what he says.
We know exactly where
Sure.
he is right now because I bet you by this point, Tom and Rich have just gotten down to arguing about whose sister is the bigger bitch.
Whose is the bigger bitch?
Oh, it's Rich's sister.
Oh yeah.
Almost prophetically, as you say this, you hear a roar from outside, the roar of a crowd, carrying all the way to the inn from the Thunderdome.
God, I want to be in there so bad.
Let's get to it. Leave all our stuff.
I don't leave any of my stuff.
Don't leave any of our
you-
stuff.
Yeah, you can depart. The rough and tumble. You pass a newly drunk Lindsay Ardane, still at the same table. I made it about halfway through the bread and the water before he switched back to alcohol.
Max, his whole ass town and his brothers disappeared. Like, leave the man alone.
You pass
If I didn't have
Rodney.
10, 9, 8.
If I didn't have to deal with the fact that the town disappeared, I would also be drinking. All of the people I know disappeared too.
It's fucked up.
It's really fucked up.
Fucked up.
Fucked up, man.
Let's go.
Lindsay's drinking on my behalf at this point.
Drinking for two.
Yeah, you pass Rodney. You head out into the town and into the city rather, and make your way over to the Thunderdome. And like basically, as you reach the crowd, which has grown somewhat since like it started to dwindle on your way to the tavern. It's actually surprisingly quiet when you get there. You get to the barrier and look down into the pit itself, and you see Tom standing over Rich, who is unconscious on the ground,
Yeah.
on the glass, which is just sort of
Nice.
like just sort of spattered with his blood and Tom's blood, and they're both like missing some teeth and generally just bruised and beat to hell. But yeah, as you reach that front and as you stand there, Lord Blackwing stands up from that black stone seat. He rises, and you realize that your assumptions were correct. He's a very, very tall man, but also very lanky. And as he does so, he picks up the sword that was leaning against the side and raises it over his head, and calls out in a voice that is surprisingly quiet. But he calls out, and everybody's like dead silent because they're used to this. But he calls out and he says, Max shushing nobody because nobody's talking. Shut up, I want to hear this.
Yeah.
He's shushing his birds.
Yeah.
Oh,
But he speaks, he calls out and he says, you've earned the right to what you came here to decide. And as Lord of Stormhold, I now declare your union as severed. All lands and titles default to the victor. The matter is settled. Or else you face me next. And yeah, that's pretty much it. People,
What?
a general. Yeah. Max starts cheering. Max is the only one cheering. Everybody else, there's like a general hum of conversation starts back up, but the verdict, it would appear, is rarely cheered for here in Stormhold. Just the fight itself. But Max goes nuts, and people give you weird looks, and then everybody starts to like make their way home for the night. The tent starts to be packed up, and the tables start to get moved back into one of the other taverns that's closer to the Thunderdome. And yeah, you see Lord Blackwing kind of descending from the slightly raised platform where he's not descending. It's not really above you all. It's just sort of an overhang out over the dome. So he kind of like steps over the gate, which is very easy for him, as tall as he is. And a few people, nod to him and say like, something. They greet him, whatever. He's cordial enough, but nobody really sticks around to talk to him. Yeah, he's emotionally descending.
Mm.
And just Kelly will just walk straight towards him. At this point, there's no. You gotta just have confidence. Just walk
Gotta
right.
go
Yeah.
for it.
I'm right next to Kelly, just like strutting, wide mouth,
Kelly's just like,
smile.
she's kind of like mystified by Max a little bit. She's like, I've never seen someone so much of a tourist.
You approach him and he's kind of strapping two leather rings around the blade of his sword that are connected with like a cord so that he can like put it over his shoulder. But he kind of like barely looks up and nods at you as he's fastening these these rings around the blade, and he sort of says, Master Hovicheck,
Arena Lord.
brings you back to Stormhold. Last I heard, you were bound for the capital.
Well, my business in the capital was complete. I thought I'd come around and see the tykes as they've gotten a little older, see how their skills have fared. I wasn't here for the last championship. I'm wondering who'd you end up crowning? Was it the Tiger Lilies, the Snapping Pups? I know the Ice Giants are getting a little bigger. Last time I saw them, they were like little giants. Now they're kind of like hill giants. They're getting there.
Now you'll be gratified to hear that your pups did you proud.
Love to see it. Well, it's always a pleasure talking to you, sir, but I also, we're here on business as well. We had some questions for you about the disappearance of the town. That was just around the corner. Friend Kelly here, she has some questions for you as well.
He nods to you. Believe we've crossed paths before.
Believe once or twice, yes. Briefly.
I certainly wish that there was more that I could tell you, but I've only heard the same stories everybody else has been telling, confirmed them, but nothing more than that.
When you confirmed them, did whoever you send, did they happen to mention an influx of birds? And I will gesture at Max's birds sitting on his shoulder.
I immediately. It is a pleasure to meet you, Lord Blackwing. Max Miller, at your service. The bird question is very valid as well.
He raises an eyebrow, but he will give you the warrior's clasp.
Nice.
Grabs your forearm. Looks a little dubious and confused, but
I wanna see, like, this is also Max's, like, is he stronger than me?
Oh no.
Oh no.
No.
Not in a competitive way, but also in like a
It's always in a competitive way.
hello competitive.
Just a little competitive.
Max does the thing where he kind of tries to pull him toward.
Yeah,
God.
just a little bit of a jerk. Not enough to like be a dick, but also just enough to be like,
you know what?
Sorry.
Just enough to be flirting, apparently.
Right.
I want to make my papa proud.
Yeah, flirting with your dad.
I want you actually want you to roll insight, since you're basically trying to get a read on him through this clasp.
Insight. Oh no, the end is so bad.
Really?
My insight is very average. Just a flatty 20. A 7.
Okay. He's not given much away. You don't really pick up on much, but you his grip, he doesn't like squeeze. But you're surprised by how steady his arm is. Even as you're like sort of trying to pull him closer, you're surprised by how hard it is, and it's not really a question of strength. It's just a question of like control.
Poise.
Yeah.
Wow. We couldn't help but admire the Blackwing.
Wait, listen,
Couldn't
we
help
said
but admire the Blackwing statue of the Thunderbird. I have birds myself. Yes.
Kelly is just. This is exactly her posture. She's just standing there, like 2 feet to the side, just like.
Hunter's just like been in the background, kind of hoping that they're not noticed throughout this. Just like, what is happening?
Max is just like, please be proud of me.
Tempest, the stories say that she watches over us. There were birds, now that you mention it, very similar birds to these. And he looks over at Max's meaningfully.
I want to say like the raven is on my shoulder and I keep shooing it and it just keeps going like a few feet and then coming back.
Yeah,
and I'll shoot it again and
absolutely.
it just like comes back.
Didn't think much of it at the time.
Yeah, we heard about it from one of the Ardanes is here. Had nowhere else to go, seeing as Ardane Manor is one of the buildings that disappeared.
Shame.
Shame.
If you want us to get him out, we will. Mhm.
Max.
What? What?
He like looks at Max but keeps talking to Kelly. Says, "How is it I can help you?"
I guess the most important thing we need to know, which you've kind of already answered, is if you'd heard anything else. Any other kinds of clues or rumors before we go out there ourselves, because we fully intend to go out there ourselves. Anyone else besides the Ardane boy who came back from Calfell that you know of?
Or was traveling to?
Make a persuasion check.
Persuasion.
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 Persuasion. It's a 10.
Well, that's a bad persuasion. Okay.
Oh no! Wait, we have advantage.
We do have
You
advantage.
do. You got to spend it before you roll.
That's the rule.
Oh. Dang.
But yes. Yes. He pauses for a second and looks over you all, and says, "Now let's." That may be nothing. But the valley has been quiet recently. Very quiet.
Do you know if it was quiet before Kalefell went missing?
As far as I know, everything was normal. Shipments in, shipments out. Normal business for Barrow. But I haven't seen hide nor hair of any traders passing through. It's a shame about the lost coin, but not about the dead staying out of my city.
It would be preferable if they did that more often. Without a whole town going missing.
My personal opinion for you all. Whatever happened to Kalefell, it's got the necropolis scared. circling their wagons. But that's just my opinion.
It's an opinion we will take under heavy advisement, sir.
Don't think it can be a coincidence. They don't eat, they don't sleep. First time in my life that I can remember it being quiet.
We'll get to the bottom of this, sir.
Good. Did you need anything else?
No, thank you very much for your time, sir. It's been good seeing you again. Wish you nothing but the best. Hope you see some good fights this week.
I draw no pleasure from the fight itself. It's not entertainment, Mr. Hovicheck. It's justice.
I hope you see some good justice this week, sir.
And may
And those that
justice
want it
paint
bad
this
enough.
glass dome with justice.
And blood.
Not blood, unless it's necessary for justice.
Just blood. Thank you, sir. Goodbye. Shutting down this conversation.
Thank you. Bows. Heart.
Safe,
Handle.
safe
bows.
travels.
Kelly
Yes,
will just
sir.
watch.
Thank you, sir.
Kelly watches Wayne run away. She watches all of that happen with Max. She'll just
Fun.
just like, all right. And she'll look at a Blackwing and she'll be like, "Happy Tuesday."
And it's just Hunter standing in front of.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
Hunter just like really
Like,
quickly just being like, thank you, sir,
15
bye.
feet back.
I like to think that you both you make eye contact with each other and you both freeze. That awkward should we say something? Is this weird? Oh no, it's already weird. And then you say something first and you run away and he's like, "Oh, thank God." All right. And then leaves.
I think that's fair.
Can I, since we have the evening, can I finally sit down and actually read Ryan's journals? Because I've only gotten to flip through them.
Yeah, definitely. You can absolutely do that. You, I assume, get back to your room.
Yep.
And things are definitely quieting down now in Stormhold. It's getting on towards late o'clock, and folks are retiring to their bed. Yeah, I think that's going to be investigation to read the journal and decipher it.
That one I'm definitely going to use an advantage on. Because I want to fucking know.
Reasonable.
Oh, good thing. Too.
16.
Yeah, good call.
Heck yeah.
16. All right.
Because that's a
Let me,
flat roll for me.
Let me adjust the value here. There we go. Cool. Yeah. You sit down with Ryan's journal and really get a chance to sort of go over it. With a 16, a lot of it is jumbled. A lot of it is stream of consciousness, just sort of Ryan writing notes to himself that would probably make perfect sense to Ryan, but without anything to qualify them. It's just scribbled phrases with question marks after them. And you're like, I don't know what this corresponds to or relates to or anything like that. You flip through the pages that had his various theories on them, you know, like demons, aliens. After the page that says the Danan at the top with the lines connecting your names, it becomes a little more coherent, but that's also towards the end of the journal. There's not a tremendous amount written after that, but what you can find are a couple of names, you're pretty sure, and some more scribbled notes. One corner says Danan, like ... Tuatha ... and then like Tuatha De Danann ? And then like Earth with like a circle drawn around it. A couple of names, like I said, written underneath that. You see written Lugh, Lugh. And Nuada, Nuada. And then a lot of different theories, paragraphs, things that are scratched out or partially erased that you can't fully place back together. But at the last page, the last page that you can see in the journal is just taken up by heavily lined, a couple of heavily lined words. Like he drew them, like he wrote them and then went over them a bunch of times with a pencil or whatever he was using to write. It says destiny equal sign. And then underneath that, death. Death is underlined like 3 times. At the very top of the page, there is a word that is mostly erased, but was written with a heavy enough hand that you can still read it if you look very closely. And if you like hold it up to the light, and it says convergence.
Kelly will get to this last page and look at all that, and she'll be like, damn it, Ryan, couldn't you have just written out some instructions? And then she will kind of close the book, go to wherever the others are, and say, if anyone wanted to see Ryan's drawings or read any of Ryan's notes, you can.
I'm gonna say more time. You lost some time while you were like sort of just poring over this journal, and you like turn back to the room, realize everybody else is asleep.
Oh shit. What time is it?
You have no idea, but very, very late. Much later than you meant for it to be. But you kind of like walk back over to the group with the journal in hand. You accidentally kick something on the ground. You accidentally kick a bag that's just sort of laying on the ground, and then you hear a little voice say, rage. And you like look down and you sort of see where the little mammoth is falling out of the bag slightly, and it's very cute. But something about that noise of it saying that it triggers something in your mind, hearing that and sort of seeing it lying there, and you remember this. You remember the feeling of being strapped down to a table in one of these factories in Barrow. You don't remember. You never knew what they were making here, because when you went there, you got caught. You have these memories of being strapped down to this table and seeing these like vague skeletal forms, pale and drawn, missing flesh or having exposed teeth or just around you. And you remember hearing that noise. You remember hearing that noise over and over again. And you remember another moment. You remember that same factory burning down around you. With you being free. You remember running from it once you managed to escape. But as this like soot and ash started to fall around you, you remember seeing a tiny little arm here, a tiny little leg there, a head, a full body. You never really thought about it before. But looking down at this thing, you just remember seeing its face all around you. Is the factory where you'd been tortured and experimented on and hurt over and over again, burned down around you. And if the rest of you want to wake up to the sound of this little mammoth going rage, feel free.
I totally wake up. I know that sound in my sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Hunter would as well. They haven't necessarily been sleeping well now being out of the Heartwood, so they definitely would wake up in response to that.
Yeah.
Kelly, if you wanted to play with it, you could have just asked. No big deal. Really soft. Give him a squeeze.
Kelly will look at, kind of like, when she hears them talk to her, she'll kind of like break away from like the staring at the toy and kind of look. I'm realizing I've heard that before.
What do you mean?
Like the elephant?
It's a
Or someone
limited
say
edition.
rage.
There's only one of them. Where'd you hear it?
There's only one of them, because the rest probably burned.
What?
What?
The rest probably burned. Just like whoever's bits and pieces and essence and soul and life was ripped apart to make it. You shouldn't be carrying that thing around.
Hmm.
And when we're finished this business with Kalefell and with Ryan, I'm gonna ask you to help me settle some business with Mansardane. Because I think he has more to do with things in Barrow than he has let on for a very long time.
Okay, if that's what you need.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I thought it would be probably a good time to get rid of it. I mean, if Rodney's not about it, it's probably not anything good. I can't blow it up or anything. I don't have that kind of magic. But if anybody wants to do some cool magic stuff and take
Yeah,
this
how
thing
do
out of
we-
existence,
Is there like a formal way to do it?
I mean, you said that bits and pieces of people are mixed up in this.
Maybe. Possibly.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'd recommend burying it and walking away.
That sounds fair.
I could do that.
Remind me of what it is called exactly.
Tusky.
The magic item.
Oh,
Sorry, the magic item.
the magic item. It's called. It's like a talking doll or something.
So serious.
I knew its
don't know.
name was Tusky. Come on.
Dusky.
I'm just gonna reverse Google search it by the description. It's like a magic doll or something.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Tusky.
I thought it was called like a living doll, but that turns out to be a bunch of other things. Yeah, talking doll.
Talking doll. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I forgot to use little Tusky. Now we're gonna shoot him into the moon.
He's haunted. He's made of
I don't
baby
know.
parts.
I was thinking,
Do you still want Tusky merch?
no, absolutely not. After Rodney wasn't about it, I was gonna get rid of him anyway. I was just thinking about
Yeah.
how to do it in a cool way.
He is,
we'll go
Absolutely.
he
bury
is
him.
So,
made of baby.
I was just thinking,
yeah, you
I've
can have.
never used my divine sense to detect good and evil. I was like, I wonder why I
Oh
never
wow.
thought about that. I've literally just never used that ability.
To be fair, I feel like
would
Wayne
you-
is the type of person to just like assume everything's good.
Yeah, totally.
Would you?
That's fair, but you could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to?
Yeah, for sure. For the first
Okay.
time ever, I channel my inner divinity. I question whether or not things are always good.
Yeah, you can. You can absolutely do that. I just need to look up one real quick thing.
We all die.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
Oh, it's divine sense. Excuse me.
Yes. Divine sense. Okay. I'm gonna say that this doll feels it resonates as desecrated. Which is the like existing mechanic of divine sense that I think is closest to what this act is. Basically, it's just it is an evil it is an unnatural object. But it most of the rest of divine sense is about detecting specific types of creatures, and it's not a creature, so it doesn't register as that. However, you do detect the presence of the undead within 60 feet of you.
From the
From
doll?
Kelly.
Ah! So Wayne's looking deep into Tusky's eyes, and then just like a snowstorm kind of all encompasses his eyes and fades out, all color, and then and then looks straight up at Kelly. There's definitely some undead in this room. Not coming from Tusky.
What do you mean? No, Wayne. What do you?
I don't know how, and then like it kind of drops. It's like, I don't know how magic works, but you've got kind of a whole vibe going on.
Mm-hmm.
And on my radar, it's kind of like undead. And I'm like, what do you mean undead? And I, kind of getting a whole undead vibe.
Wayne, I don't think you just come out and say that someone might be undead.
I've never used it before. I didn't really know what the common etiquette was.
No, I think it's something that we should know.
Can't just call someone undead.
Seriously, Wayne.
Oh yeah. Do you remember what I
Kelly?
said about not being sure if I had a soul anymore?
No, actually, I don't.
You've been kind of cagey about it.
I mentioned it with the Dide woman who was like, "There's nothing here." I mentioned it very briefly, and then we left. And
It
I
was awesome.
Beside the point,
Kind of
Max.
thought you guys would have a lot of follow-up questions about that, but you just kind of accepted it, and we all moved on. So
It's
You
some
respect-
Kelly
you
stuff.
respected my-
It's like
This
very
isn't it.
obviously
You
like we're
respected
not
my
gonna get answers
boundaries,
to the
and
question. So it's
It's like,
I
like
don't need to. We don't need to ask questions. Kelly has to tell us.
She doesn't
If
have to
we're
tell
going to
us
be working-
anything.
that's
I
She
don't-
absolutely does. If we're going to be going into Barrow, the undead city, I think it would be good to know if there's an undead among us.
Among us?
Oh shit.
listen. I genuinely don't know. I don't know what they did to me, but I know that they did something. I was there
So-
for a year and a half against my will. 4 months of it was my own fault. I will admit that. 4 months I went there. My own choice. And then after 4 months, I got caught. And I don't know what they did to me.
How did you get out?
There was a storm. There was a really, really bad storm, and it destroyed a lot of buildings, and one of them was the building I was in, and I remember jumping. I wasn't making that up when I told Alec that I jumped. I just don't know what happened after I did.
you hear a crash of thunder.
But I got weird after that. You know, the whole necromancy and lightning and creepy old men calling me child. Horrible smoke monsters calling me sister. I don't know. I don't want to go back there, but we're gonna have to, and so I don't want to talk about this. I spent a lot of time thinking about, you know, back home and our parents, and like they probably all had funerals for us. And then, hopefully one day something would happen and everyone gets to go back home and go back and be with their parents. But I'm pretty sure if I ever went back to Earth again, I would just drop dead. And I don't want to talk about it.
That's fair. You've said more than enough, Kelly.
It might not be a bad thing. Going into Barrow and having an undead with us.
You guys want to go bury this stuffed mammoth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go bury the mammoth.
Yeah. I mean, it could be cool.
Is that how you are starting your journey to Kalefell? You
Before we
like
finish
set out in the
rest of our
morning. I
sleep.
mean, it's well. I'm willing to say that like R.I.P. Tusky.
We hardly
Fun, but
knew
not
him,
forgotten.
really.
It really did.
What is it?
I'm willing to say that like Kelly's lost time studying the journal was a full night, basically. So like it's like dawn is breaking. There is a soft rain falling following that thunderclap that you heard before. Sort of gently misting out. And on the outskirts of Stormhold, which is completely asleep. There's almost nobody around as you make your way to the gate. And just beyond the walls of Stormhold, you pause and you lay this evil haunted stuffed mammoth toy to rest.
Tusky.
R.I.P.
We lay
R.I.P.
Tusky to rest.
R.I.P. Tusky. And as you stand there and all of the events of the last hour or so sort of just play in your minds. The blue, the soft blue light of the pre-dawn morning is lit up by a flash of lightning. And in the aftermath of that flash, you are all... You're not sure if it was a mirage or a trick of the light or something else, but sort of backlit in the low-hanging clouds over Blackwing Tower. In that flash of light, you are all fairly sure you saw the outline of some kind of enormous bird. Almost the size of Stormhold itself. And just as quickly, it's gone. You start your walk to Kalefell, leaving Tusky behind. R.I.P. Tusky.
R.I.P. Tusky.
Alright.
You never even got to merch him.
Never even got to. Probably for the best.
Probably for the best. Probably for the best. And you walk. You walk for a day the better part of a day, as it's dark by the time you approach. You stay to the road connecting Stormhold to Kalefell. Nothing particularly exciting happens. Max's ravens keep abreast of you the whole walk. Yeah, as it's getting on towards midnight, you approach where the road splits to lead you into Kalefell. Move on, I assume, and I imagine this is sort of a somber walk. I don't imagine there's much being said between the four of you.
It's a safe bet.
Yeah. I feel like every so often, like, Hunter will find some sort of interesting looking plant or rock and like hand that to Kelly, but like that's about the extent of the interaction.
Just like, look at this.
Very good.
Just like, here, this.
Have a rock. Yep.
Kelly just accepts it. At this
this-
point, she's just like, as sure as a rock. Into the bag it goes.
Into my rock bag.
Really heavy bag by the time you get there.
You know,
Yeah.
it works out. She's like, this will be fine. If I need to, I can just use this as a very, very discreet but violent weapon.
There you go.
It's true. Yeah, you finally reach your destination, or at least the outskirts of it, where Kalefell, Kelly, you know Kalefell should be.
Mhm.
Kalefell is very close to the Neverdawn Valley, which is where Barrow is. So even though you are in the north, the terrain here is very strange and very dry. The earth is cracked and hard, almost more like what you might expect from someplace much more temperate or farther south. There is a heavy mist hanging in the air as you approach Kalefell. And sure enough, as you start to draw closer, you realize it is gone. You'd be able to see it by now, if it wasn't.
Can I find...
You approach. What's up?
I was going to say, Lindsay mentioned that the fountain was still here. Can I try to find the fountain to use as like a touchstone?
You sure can. And give me 1 second.
Oh, dear. Oh, no.
No,
Oh
there it is.
no!
DM, you sneaky DM.
Sneaky,
Still loading
sneaky.
on the view end.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all can see it yet.
Not yet.
I
I
see
can
the
see
loading
the
bar.
the purple loading bar is just inching its way across.
Yeah, it's a big map.
Yep,
We're not going to
sounds
get
about
into
right.
the
Big map.
combat.
We're not going to get into them.
We're not going to get into the
Roll for initiative.
not going to be able to get into the combat tonight, but I did want you to get an idea of how things look.
Spooky.
Spooky.
Oh.
You can see the paths. You can see the paths where stores and homes should be, but are now missing entirely. Discarded carts, some vegetation that's overgrown in the past couple of days, but the fountain still stands.
Mm.
As you draw close into the center of Kalefell,
There it is.
you realize that it's quiet. It's dead quiet. There are no birds.
Oh,
No birds.
No
no
birds.
birds.
Uh-oh.
In fact, the only thing you hear is a small sound of something burning, the crackle of fire. And you see a light from up ahead as a small flame comes into being.
Like it's coming towards us?
No, it appears to be fixed, but it's through the smog. It's very hard to tell what it is. It's sort of, if you didn't know any better, you'd think it was a floating flame.
Hmm.
Ghost flame.
How are the ravens reacting to this area?
The ones that came with you.
Mhm.
The ravens that are with you are, for lack of a better word, are being very clingy. They usually keep an eye on you, but they
Mm.
don't often like hang out on your person. But ever since you reached the borders of Kale Fell, they are on your shoulders, on your arms, pretty much wherever they can perch. And doing
my
that thing
great
where like
axe?
if you shoo them away, they come right
Shield.
back. Yeah, definitely on your great axe.
Mm.
On the shelf that is your pecs.
Yeah.
Yep. One of them is just like nestled right in there between the two of them, with like just its little head
Abraham's
poking out.
bosom.
Like in SpongeBob.
Yep.
Just snuggled up.
hmm
I'm a little scritchy.
But yeah, they're chilling. They almost seem transfixed. They're staring in the direction of the flame.
I start walking toward it.
Yeah, might as well.
I start walking toward it, but like I will take out my axe and shield.
Okay.
Just in
You do
case.
that. The rest of you following Max, I assume.
Yep.
In due
Well-
order. And
Well, I have a strange question that I want to ask before we
Yeah,
move
go
any
for it.
further. How is my symbiote responding to being in this environment?
Yeah.
interesting question. You will have to remind me, is that part of its suite of abilities? Or is it just sort of a general question?
I think it's more of a general question. Like, I know we've talked about how it will be defensive and react to threats by creating
Yeah.
like different ways of protecting Hunter. So I wasn't sure, since
Yes.
it is connected to Ak, if there's a bit of a reaction to what we're walking into.
Yeah.
This cursed
Yeah.
dirt.
Yeah.
100%
There
cursed
definitely is. We're gonna have to. So this is kind of a so the symbiote manifesting different abilities depending on the situation you're in is basically like our expression of your magic. So in this case, I will say yes, it is having a reaction to it, but you're gonna have to cast a spell
Okay.
if you're willing to do that.
I would say that I am.
Okay. Then every step you take forward, the patches of the bark-like substance of the symbiote itself start to spread over more of your body until you are kind of covered head to toe.
Cool.
You have cast bark skin. And you recognize this as the symbiote's defense mechanism for you.
Interesting.
Oh boy.
Max, you take a few more steps forward, and you kind of reach the fountain in the middle, skirt around the outside of it. You're drawing pretty close to that wavering flame now. When suddenly, from either side of you, two birds wing past your head.
Not
They
my
do
birds.
appear, not the birds that are on you, but they do appear to be ravens or crows or some type of large black bird. But they wing past you. They kind of startle you because it kind of came out of nowhere. And they land on the ground just a little ways ahead of you. Another step forward, and the fog clears enough. You can see someone standing there. Not particularly tall, very, very slender. It's hard to make out any real details about them because their back is to you, but they are wearing some kind of a black dress or cloak or something. You're not sure that drags the ground. And these two birds land on the ground at the very edge of the dress or the cloak or whatever it is and melt into it.
Can't you do that?
The figure turns and you see that in their hands, these very delicate chalk white hands, they're holding some kind of a doll, a child's doll of some kind. It's not Tusky, so relax. But some kind of like a soldier doll, and it is like gently burning with a fire that they are sort of holding in their hand. This long, cascading silver hair sort of spills across their shoulder, and they kind of look at you from the side, turning their head to face you with this equally with this face that is so cold and beautiful, so textbook perfect, that it is like being slapped in the face.
Jesus.
These piercing bright blue eyes, that same chalk white skin, black lips that you're pretty sure are not cosmetic, considering where you are. And they say, "Welcome, child."
Who the fuck are you?
You don't know me yet?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
They turn away from you, just their head, look around and say, "It's far too early for that." Thank you, though.
What? Are we supposed to fight? Are we fighting? What did you do? What is going on here? Who are you? Max is like,
You wanna go, bro?
anybody else?
Kelly's just revising mentally. She's like, he was never a cop. This is not how
Is the-
you
is the-
interrogate anyone.
The Thunderdome is like a day that way, and we can fight it out there.
Yeah, basically.
You better start
Actually,
walking.
can I since my birds are around me, can I try to do activate like a dread presence?
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah, you can definitely try that. Remind me
Okay.
how that works.
It just it just gives me the stuff that I get if it happens, but
Yeah.
the choice is not up to me. It is up to my birds.
Right.
I have no idea how to determine that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Birdman.
You've done this before, probably.
Yeah.
You've done
I've
this
had them
before.
for 10 years. Maybe on accident I did it.
So you, what does it normally look like? Because normally, I'll tell you this, normally it works. What does it normally look like?
I would say it normally looks like how when I go into a rage, like my hair kind of like takes over and becomes like this like gross fur body, and my eyes go red.
Yeah.
I'd say like it's a light version of that, where like there's almost like a dark presence that comes over and my eyes
Mhm.
get like sharper. And then I would say the crows or the ravens, so sorry. The ravens would start like wherever they are would just start like squawking like nonstop, and like some of them would just be like flapping in place and just like staring at whoever I'm like talking to. Just like real creepy.
Yeah, absolutely. You do that, and she, this person, this figure, the darkness kind of takes over or falls over your body. Your eyes get sharper, like you said. The ravens, though, are quiet. She smiles and holds out one arm, the one that's not holding the burning doll, and your birds sort of fly over to her and land on her arm, and she sort of like ducks her head down to them and sort of like nuzzles up against one of them and says, "There,
That's not good.
you've done such a good job. I've seen everything. I'm so proud of you." And she looks over at you, Max, just, "I'm proud of you too." You've done so much with so little of what I gave you.
I didn't ask for the birds. I don't need them.
I'm not speaking of the birds, lad.
Then what the hell are you talking about? You need to give me answers. Need to.
I've already told you. The time's not quite right for that yet.
Then when is the right time? I've been waiting 10 long years for answers.
She bursts into laughter. But it is cold and mirthless, and her eyes grow hard, and she says, 10 years. You've waited. 10 years. You can wait a bit longer. And she looks down. She moves her arm, and the birds fly back to you. The ravens fly back to you.
I just start, like,
Yeah, you can try
swinging
to
at them.
fend them off. In the moment that you were trying to fend them off from landing on you again, she leans down and looks at the doll. She sort of holds it up as it burns in her hand, and she says, another fallen little soldier. I think I'll call you Cinder. She sort of closes her hand, and it falls into ash that she drops onto the ground. And she looks back over at you, Max, at all of you. And she says, make no mistake, we're grateful. But not that grateful. And then she explodes into ravens. Which start to fly away. At the same moment that happens, at first you think a wind is blowing because the pile of ashes that she dropped on the ground starts to sort of move. And then a second later, you realize there is no wind. There is dead still here. But it starts to swirl up into take on a physical form. And that physical form of Cinder.
Oh, yeah, no. Don't do this. Don't do this.
The dad that Max always needed.
See if I can
Mom.
see if I can get the stream
Whoa.
a good view
What? What?
That's some Elden Ring shit,
of
dude.
the these
Oh.
boys.
No.
Oh, those are some big old boys.
Them's big boys.
I'm about to divine smite this bitch so hard.
I'm pissed.
I think that's your.
This being made out of the ashes, holding the sword, opens its eyes for the first time, which are hollow. There's nothing there, no substance, and looks at the rest of you, all of you gathered there, and says, "For my queen." And then it sort of does a flourishing salute with the sword and rushes at you, Max. And we will call it there for this session. Pick up with this combat next time.
That's literally what Max does.
We've got to fight Max's bird mom sponsor.
Venti boys.
Thank you, boy.
Bird mom.
Bird mom.
Bird mom.
Stella.
So weird that your mom's here from Ohio.
It's
All the way
so
from
weird.
Ohio. Honestly, good
That's
for
crazy.
her. She was.
Yeah.
She's a hard worker.
She deserves it.
What did
It's
I
true.
name her?
It's
Hold
true.
on.
Mom.
Mom. No.
Oh wait, I might have that. If you gave her a name, what do we think
I
the odds are
did.
that you named her?
I 100% name. Her name is Joanna.
Oh,
Joanna.
Aw.
Joanna.
bird mom Joanna.
What's
I
my
think this is one of
mom's
them.
name? My mom's
Uh,
name is Marge. I can't remember my dad's.
Marge.
Merge.
Yeah. Good
God damn it.
session, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Good
everybody
sesh,
who
yeah.
hung
God
out.
damn you.
Yeah, and who watched. Oh, I should stop the creepy music. Here we go.
I guess.
I forget that music plays.
I know, me too.
Good for chat.
Yeah. Sometimes music plays when I remember to start it. Yeah, everybody, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for hanging out. This was a lot of fun as always. This is class reunion. We are live from the apocalypse. We stream tabletop games for charitable causes, aid organizations, and great things like that. We're raising money for Planned Parenthood. We're raising money for the Surfrider Foundation. We have a lot of cool stuff happening on our channel. What is next? There's no Fury Brick Road is tomorrow. That's our 5e game set in the Wizard of Oz world. No stream this Sunday, but the following 2 Sundays are both going to be devoted to the finale episodes of our science fiction game Nephilim, which is ending. Yeah, that's coming to a close. Raph famously guest starred on Nephilim, and Julia is a current cast member of Nephilim. Yeah, that game has been going pretty much since the channel started. It's meant a great deal to me, meant a great deal to the players, and we're gonna do our best to send it off over the next 2 Sundays. And then we have a lot of really cool stuff coming up that's going to be replacing Nephilim and Pulp Diction. We have a couple new games that we're working on. We're figuring out cast members for. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of cool ideas. I can't say too much about it right now, but stick around if you do want to know more, because we occasionally get sloppy and drop some hints and the like. You can follow us on Twitter. You can also join us in our Discord. I bumped the microphone. You can join us in our Discord server. It's a community server. Lots of great people in there. People love playing games. If you're looking for a game to play, if you're just looking for conversation, friends, anything like that, feel free to hop in there. It's a great place. Everybody's super, super cool and super chill. I think that is pretty much everything. Did I miss anything? I don't think I missed anything.
I think you missed that. You're great.
That's true.
Accurate.
You are
no.
wonderful.
Oh no, let's not do this.
You run a great game. You make us emotional and upset.
GDM. Thanks for the trauma.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for the deep and unsettling visions
Emotional
on
distress.
this Tuesday.
I'm happy that you're here, all of you, and I'm happy if you're still watching us. I'm happy that you're here as well. So come back. We do lots of stuff. We would love to have you back for more stuff. People said nice things about me, and now I can't think. So I'm just gonna go ahead and call it. Let's end the stream on that note. Thanks again, everybody. Have a good night. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night, everybody.